Namaskar, very good evening to all. Thank you for joining me once again in Shri Sai Satcharita Parayana. Today we'll begin with chapter 7. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Om Shri Saraswataya Namaha, Om Shri Guru Dattatreya Namaha, Om Shri Mahalakshme Namaha, Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Sai Satcharita, the life and teachings of Shirdi, Sai Baba. Chapter 7. What was Sai Baba? My obeisance to Shri Ganesh, to Shri Saraswati and Shri Guru Maharaj, to the family deity, to Shri Sita Ramachandra, my most humble obeisance. I bow in reverence to the most venerable Guru, Shri Sai Nath. Now let us recall to our minds the connection of the previous story, how Baba was fond of renovating the old temples, how he would exert himself for the benefit of others, how he would protect his devotees, taking upon himself their sorrows and sufferings and wearing away his body in their cause. How he practiced Khanda Yoga, Dhoti Poti along with Samadhi, sometimes severing from his body hands, legs and the head, sometimes joining them together as before. If considered a Hindu, he looked like a Muslim, and if a Muslim, he exhibited all the qualities of a good Hindu, who, even with all his proficiency and learning, can describe such an extraordinary avatar. No one could trace in the least whether he was a Hindu or a Muslim, for his conduct towards both these was always the same. Ram Navami is really a Hindu festival, but he himself got in celebrated. He would have the cradle tied in the Sabha Mandap and have the Katha Kirtan performed. In the square in front would the cradle be put up and he would have the Ram Kirtan performed. On the same night, he would also give permission to the Muslims to take out the sandal procession. Collecting together as many Muslims as possible, the sandal processions would be taken out ceremoniously. Thus, he got both the festivals celebrated equally well and with great joy. As the Ram Navami festival came round, he would be greatly interested in arranging wrestling events and would be delighted in giving away horses, todas and turbans as prizes. When the festival of Gokulashtami came, he would get Gopal Kala performed. Similarly, when Eid came, the Muslims were not prohibited from doing their namaz. Once, as the festival of Muharram approached, some Muslims came to the mosque proposing that a tabut be made and taken in procession through the village. On being permitted to do so, the taja was got ready and kept for 4 days. On the 5th day, it was taken down without his feeling any pleasure or pain. If a Muslim, his ears were pierced, but if a Hindu, his circumcision proved it to be otherwise. Neither a Hindu nor a Muslim. Such was the Sai, the very incarnation of sanctity. If he called a Hindu, he always lived in the mosque. And if he called a Muslim, the fire burns day and night in the mosque. In the mosque, there was grinding in a quern. In the mosque too, resounded the bells, the conch, and so also in that mosque, there was the offering of rice in the holy fire. What kind of a Muslim was this? In the mosque, the bhajan went on all the time, and the distribution of food to the people also went on in that mosque. Again, the Hindus worshipped his feet, offered oblations to him in the mosque. How can he be a Muslim? If a Muslim, how was he worshipped by the best among Brahmins? And the Agnihotri prostrated before him, giving up their pride in their sovle. So the people wondered in their minds. Those who came to find out for themselves behaved in the same manner too, and after having his darshan, fell silent. So very beautiful. You cannot describe or you cannot comprehend who are these great divine beings. Are they Hindu? Are they Muslim? Is there a caste, religion, creed that they belong to? What sect do they follow? Everybody has their own biases. But the Guru is an universal. He is not against or for anybody. He is with everything. He has equality with the entire universe. He celebrates Ram Navami versus Eid or versus Gopal Kala, whatever the festivals might be, in the same spirit. There is no less joy for one religion or there is no more joy for another religion. Everything is universal because he is the truth incarnate. He is the epitome of love that exists in this planet Earth. He is the Satchidanand, the truth, knowledge and bliss. Everything is his creation alone. So why should there be any biases amongst people or religion or celebrations? It is we human beings who have discrimination. We discriminate, but the divine do not discriminate. So that is what is being said here. That is what is being described about Baba, where people had doubts whether he was a Hindu or a Muslim. He is neither a Hindu nor a Muslim. He was that Mahapurush. He was that great avatar himself. He was that Parabrahman. He was the greatest saint. So as a guru, as a Sadguru, his job was only to serve his devotees, serve selflessly, wearing himself out, taking all the karmas of his disciples and the devotees and suffering for the people was his ultimate goal in life, and giving happiness to everybody, granting whatever they want, that was their purpose. This is who these great divine beings are. All this money came from charity. Those who received it also believed it to be so, and even Baba wished that it should be expended for a good cause, and thus many became healthy and robust by his mere darshan. Some changed their wicked ways and became good. Many were cured of their leprosy, and so many enjoyed weal. Without the medicated collyrium or a herbal remedy, so many sightless regained their sight, and the lame regained power in their legs just by falling at his feet. Limitless was Baba's power and greatness which no one could fathom. People from all the four directions started coming to Shirdi in multitudes for this darshan. See, this is exactly what I was saying. You cannot fathom the great divine being. He serves this entire universe selflessly. He grants you. He has nothing, but yet he grants you. Imagine. You know, the most beautiful thing about the divine being is they own this entire universe. Yet they will never say this, I am the master of this universe, or I own this universe, or I have anything in this world. They will always say, I have nothing. What have you come to ask from me? But the moment you ask, or even before you open your mouth, they already know what you want, and they will bestow upon you that which you wish. But in the manner they bestow is the most beautiful thing, which means whatever that comes to you is sinless. There is no karma accrued with that. So when they bestow upon you, you will incur no sins at all. And such is their greatness. Can you ever imagine how beautiful and how wonderful is their life? To be in a company of such a great divine being itself is a blessing, of blessings of many lives. Some good that you must have done, that you can come in contact with a great master like this. And when you come in contact, please hold their feet and prostrate and always be with them. Take every opportunity to, get your guru or the great master to put you on the path of your spiritual journey. That is the most important aspect of having this human body in this world. He would always be sitting at the same place, near the dhuni, absorbed in meditation, after his morning ablutions, sometimes after a bath or sometimes without having one. A nice white turban on the head he would wear in a clean dhoti round his waist and would don a long shirt. Such was his dress in the beginning. He used to administer indigenous medicines in the village. By observing the symptoms, he gave medicines and had a good deal of success, so that he became a famous Hakim. Once a devotee had red, inflamed eyes, which appeared as red balls due to the swelling. Both the eyeballs were bloodshot. No doctor was locally available in Shirdi. The simple, trusting devotee showed his eyes to Baba. At once, Baba got some biba seed, crushed and made into balls. For such an ailment, some will apply surma. Some may put cotton soaked in cow's milk, or some others may use the cooling camphor, tablets or collyrium. But Baba's remedy was most unusual. He picked up the balls one at a time with his own hands and rammed them into each of the eyes, bandaging finally with a piece of cloth. The next day, the bandage was removed from the eyes and water was poured over them in a continuous stream. The swelling had subsided completely and the eyeballs had become clear and normal. Such a delicate organ like eye, but even the biba seeds caused no burning or pain. In fact, they cured the eye ailment absolutely. Many are such experiences. We say that sometimes we have this very interesting sickness. It could be stomach pain, we have loose motions, we have varied kind of diseases. We might not find cure. Sometimes some of the simplest or the most complicated medical problems cannot be cured by the doctor. But when we go to the master, he will give us the more mundane or the simplest of the solution. Our mind will always doubt, oh, does he know how to cure? Is he a doctor? Is he is he a qualified specialist? We have such questions raised. But you know what? When you have absolute faith, just go to him and he will give you whatever the prescription might be. It's as simple as just, drink a tea, or, just have I don't know, probably, make a mixture of mint leaves or honey, or just he'll say, somebody who likes a chicken biryani, he'll say, go eat a chicken biryani and his loose motion will stop. That is how they work. Why they say what they say, we don't understand. But when you have faith in the remedy that they say and just trust blindly and follow it, it works miracle. It really works. I have to say a very interesting happened in my own case. At one point in time, I went for a medical checkup and I was diagnosed with some weird kind of I don't know, it's not a disease, but there was something that they diagnosed in me, which was like, I couldn't even believe, oh, did I get this? I was eating normal, I was healthy, and they said I have such a symptom which needs some treatment. According to the specialist, it was quite serious. And I called my Guruji from Singapore, telling him, you know what? This is what the doctor says. I have some weird kind of symptom, and they say it's quite serious. What do you want me to do? And my Guruji says, oh really? Okay, what did the doctor say? So I said, this is what she said, and then I have to go for the test and all that. Yeah, I went to the checkup and then I got my reports. And for some reason, within my heart, I just said, I don't have any of this. I do not believe. And during the time, my Guruji was visiting me in the next few days. So when he arrived and we went to another hospital to make sure that there was nothing wrong with me and we want to get a second opinion. And we went there and we got all those things done. And for some reason, my Guruji was asking, do you really believe it? And he's like, oh, you're very sick and you've gotten some weird disease. We don't know what's going to happen. And he was trying to test me. He wanted to know whether I have faith in him or not. And I said, I'm sorry, I call him Krishna Guruji. So I said, Krishna Ma, I don't believe in any of this. I do not believe. I don't have any of this disease. He said, are you absolutely sure? I said, absolutely. I'm 100% sure I do not have any such diseases. This was my conviction. And he says, you have faith in me, no? I said, of course, yes. When you're there, why would any disease come to me and why would I even fall sick? Because I'm hale and hearty, I'm healthy. This was my conviction in him. I said, there's nothing wrong with me. And you wouldn't believe when he said, okay, let's just forget it. If you have this conviction, that itself will eradicate whatever that report shows. So we came back to India and went to our family doctor, and we got, once again, my checkups were all done, whatever the tests had to be done. And then everything came normal. There was nothing at all like that, whatever the report that had come in Singapore. So this is the power of the faith in the Guru. When you believe in him, nothing shall befall, and have that faith. See, all these sickness and all these ailments, which is connected to the gross body, it's only an affliction, or it's because you have to overcome your mind. 99% of the time, it is what your mind creates. The sickness is not really there. The sickness is created by your mind. So have that faith that you are healthy, nothing shall touch you. So So this is the conviction you need to have. And to me, I didn't have any words to describe. To me, that was a very beautiful test that happened. Not just that, recently, 2 months back, given the pandemic, I've been working from home. Every single day, I had become lazy. I didn't want to sit in my, my desk and chair. I used to sit and work on my bed. So because I was slouching, I had once again got a similar pain which I had many years back, and that time it took me 2 years to get rid of that. I was like, oh no, I've messed my back once again. And then this time he asked me, oh my god, oh really, we have to, okay. I was like, okay, let's go to doctor. I need to see the doctor. So we went to a physiotherapist who I visited 2 years, I mean not 2 years, many years back when I had the same issue. And then he said, oh, you need to get this physiotherapy done, so many sessions and all. You know, my Guruji, what he said at that time, I'm walking out, I have nothing to do with this. And that's it. That one sentence I understood. Oh my God, it's just a test to see whether I'm falling for this or I'm able to overcome this. And that's when I realized, oh my God, the way how the universe works is they put the same sickness back to you to see if you're able to overcome your mind. Then I said, oh, okay, that nothing is wrong with me. I came back, no matter how much pain was there. I would go for my walk. I would do everything at home. In the ashram, I would do all my work and just follow my regular discipline. And I started sitting on the desk and working. That's it. I brought myself back being normal. There was no pain. And that's when I realized the power of what it is to overcome your mind. Your mind is going to put you through that. Your mind is going to say, oh, there is pain. It's hurting a lot. Do not fall for that. That is the strength you have to show. That is the conviction that you need to have within yourself. Then there is no sickness at all. You cannot be sick. The sickness is only in your mind. Know this. Baba knew Dhoti Poti, a Hatha Yoga practice. Without anybody's knowledge, he would go to some secluded spot, take a bath and then bring out his intestines through the mouth, which he would then wash and hang them up to dry. Equidistant as the well from the mosque was a banyan tree, and beyond this tree was another well. To this latter he used to go every 2 days. In the scorching heat at high noon, seeing that no one was around, he would himself draw water from the well and wash his mouth, face, etc. And so, on one such occasion, when he was sitting down to his bath, he hurriedly brought out his intestines and began washing them at that place. Please do not try such exercise. You're not qualified for it. Disclaimer here. And when a goat is killed, its intestines are turned inside out, washed clean and put fold upon fold to dry. Similarly, he took out his intestines and turning them inside out, cleaned them carefully. He then spread them out on the guava tree to the consternation of the people around. Even now, there are people alive in Shirdi who have seen Baba in this condition with their own eyes, who say that he was a unique saint. Sometimes he would practice Khanda Yoga, separating hands, legs, etc. from the trunk. And these parts of his body could be seen fallen off at different places in the mosque. And when the people in large numbers came running to see the shocking spectacle of his body thus severed into parts, what they always saw was Baba, whole and in one piece. Once a spectator was terrified on seeing such a scene and thought that some wicked person must have killed Baba and committed such an atrocity. Such was the good intention in Nana's mind with which he entreated Baba. I missed a page, apologies. In the four corners of the mosque, parts of the body could be seen scattered at different places. It was the midnight hour and not a soul was around. He became greatly worried. If he were to go and tell anyone, he would himself get implicated. This was his difficulty. So he went and sat outside. But that it could be some yogic practice of Sai, he did not even dream. The sight of the mutilated body struck terror in his heart. He wanted very much to inform somebody of what he had seen, but the fear that, being the first informer, he would himself be accused of the crime. prevented him from telling anyone. Doubts and fears crowded his mind. So once again, at dawn, he went to see and was quite astonished. What he had seen earlier had vanished completely, and Baba sat in his usual place, hale and hearty. He began to wonder where this dream was, whether this was a dream. These yogic practices of dhoti, poti, etc. were being practiced by Baba since childhood. But nobody could comprehend the extent of his yogic powers and the mysterious behavior consequent upon it. Never did he touch even a farthing of anybody. His fame as a physician rested only on his success in effecting a cure. He nursed the poor and the weak back to health and became renowned as a Hakim in that district. But this Hakim lived only for the benefit of others. About his own profit, he was most disinterested, and to achieve the good of others, he would bear intolerable pain and suffering. In this context, I shall now narrate an extraordinary incident for the benefit of the listeners, which will bring out Baba's compassion and all-pervasiveness. It is so true, the divine doesn't care about whether you are giving them something, whether it is hurting their body. Many a time, even when my Guruji is suffering for the karmas of others or the sins of others, I feel terrible. Oh, he's getting hurt and, something is happening to him. He doesn't even bother. It doesn't affect him, because that is what the divine beings are. They are capable to take on others' problem. They wear themselves out. They suffer for the others. They can take all the pain, but will never ever say that, I have a pain or I have a problem. They will never say that. Their greatness is unfathomable. We cannot even imagine. You can't even think beyond your nose. That is who they are. I've seen my Krishna Guruji suffering day in and day out for everyone. But he looks so normal. But I know something is wrong. Something is happening. But he'll never say. He'll say, oh, I'm all right. There's nothing wrong with me. And this is how they are. I've seen him curing so many people. The great divine beings are such compassionate ones. They are all pervasive. They are all the time, everywhere. You can find them anywhere you want. All you need to do is have that faith. Call them, seek them with sincere heart, and they will come to you right at that moment. Because they are not the body. They're all pervading. They're omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscience. They know, they're all knowing. Understand this. It is what you need to have, which is the faith and surrender. You need to have that Shraddha. You need to be devoted to them. That is what they care about. They don't value whether you bring them money, whether you do something. It doesn't even matter. They don't care about any of your riches. They're not even expecting anything from them. What is it you can offer such a divine being who's the master of this entire universe? Who's the one who has nothing yet has everything, and they are the ones who bestow upon you. So what can you give? You are going to pluck a flower from their own garden and offer it to them? That is what you can do. And if you think, I am giving, who is this I who's giving? So never have this kind of attitude or even thoughts in your mind. When you go to such divine beings, go with humility, but take some offering always. Always go and offer something. That is the most important thing, because when you offer, they bless you. It is a way. When you go to temple, how do you take an offering? Similarly, when you meet a guru, never go with empty hand. Always go with offering to them and seek their blessing. Always touch their feet and take the blessing. Because when you touch the feet, you are transferring all your dirty karmas onto them. They absolve that. Know that. Such are these great masters in this universe. Yet they look so simple and so ordinary mortal. You cannot even imagine who they are. They will always be in that incognito mode. In the year 1910, on the Dhanteras day, on the eve of Diwali, the festival of lights, Baba was sitting near the dhuni, putting logs of wood to the fire in a casual manner. The fire in the dhuni was raging, and there sat Baba, his hand thrust in the fire, but quite oblivious and unconcerned about it. The hand was naturally scorched quite severely. Madhav, his attendant, noticed it at once. Madhav Rao Deshpande, who was nearby, noticed it too and ran instantly. He squatted at the back and, putting his hands tightly around Baba's waist, pulled him back, exclaiming, "Alas, Baba, what have you done?" As he said so, Baba at once came back to the waking state from super consciousness and said, "Oh Shama, you know, a child slipped from its mother's arms suddenly and fell into the smith's forge." Hearing her husband call out to her, the smith's wife began to blow the bellows vigorously out of fear while holding the child in her armpit all the while. While doing so, quite inadvertently, she forgot the child in her armpit for a moment. The restless, overactive child slipped from there, but Shama, no sooner did she fall than I picked her up. This is the greatness of the sage. They are, like I said, they are omniscient, omnipresent and omnipotent. They know what's happening. They know who is in need. So Baba put his hand in the dhuni, just dhuni, and saved this child. But the child was not there. The child was somewhere else. This is the greatness. But they will never show you their power. They don't want to show. They are not here to display their power. They are here to use their power so that they can do good to everybody in this world. They can redeem all your sins, all your diseases, karma, you name it. To whatever extent they can take your sufferings on themselves. That is what they are here to do. To establish the dharma back in this world. To make all his devotees and disciples to follow the path of righteousness and to establish and put them on the path of spiritual so that they can be devoted to the divine and redeem themselves from the cycle of birth and death. That is their ultimate goal in life. And as I was picking her up, this is what happened. Let the hand be scorched, but at least the child's life is saved. How should the hand be now treated and by whom? Wondered Madhav Rao. He decided to write a letter to Chandorkar. So he wrote a detailed letter and Chandorkar came to Shirdi at once, bringing with him Paramanand, a well-known doctor, equipped with a variety of medicines to soothe the burning pain, and accompanied by Paramanand, Nana Sahib came and stood before Baba. Making obeisance to Baba, he made the customary enquiries after his well-being and then disclosed the purpose of his visit, requesting him to show his injured hand. Already from the day the hand was burned, Bhagoji Shinde was massaging it with ghee, clarified butter, and after covering it with a leaf, was bandaging it tightly every day. To take the bandages out, to have a look at the hand and show it to Paramanand also, so that proper medication could begin and Baba could get relief. Such was the good intention in Nana's mind with which he entreated Baba in various ways. Even Paramanand made many attempts to induce Baba to take off the bandages so that he could see for himself the condition of the hand. But Baba kept on postponing from day to day and saying all the while that Allah is our Vaidya, so that he never gave him his hand to see and had no regrets about it. The medicines that Paramanand had brought with him never saw the light of the day in Shirdi, but it was destined that he should experience the joy of Sai's darshan on account of it. Bhagoji alone had the privilege of serving him thus every day, and so Bhagoji alone would massage his hand. As a result, the hand healed in the course of time. All were relieved and happy. See, it's a very beautiful way of teaching how to serve the Guru. Whatever this happened is happening to the body, and it is only with love can you heal it. There is no medicines which can heal any of these things. It is with love. There's a very beautiful lesson about Lord Shri Krishna. Why is Lord Shri Krishna blue in color? Have you ever wondered? And once when I asked my Guruji about this, he narrated a very beautiful story. In Golok Vrindavan, everybody, right from all the gopis, gopas, everybody wants to be with Lord Shri Krishna. And Krishna is equally with everyone. But everybody thinks they possess him, they own him. So everybody wants Krishna with them, especially Radha Rani. She wants to possess and own Krishna, but Lord Shri Krishna can never be owned or possessed by anybody, including Shri Radha Rani. So what he would do is he would have his Ras Leelas with all the gopis and enjoying. So when Shri Radha Rani's two of her friends who is going to keep an eye on Lord Shri Krishna, they go and say, oh, where is he? Today he's with Chandravali, tomorrow he's with someone. Oh, did you know that he met somebody? And then Radha Rani would come to Lord Shri Krishna and fight. Not just fight with him, but she would go and fight with the other gopis as well. And then there would be some curses, abuses, all that would go. But this is all part of a play. It's a sweet Leela. In the process, what happens is, when there is all this bitterness and anger and they are fighting in that intense manner, that affects Lord Shri Krishna. He is drinking all the poison from each of them. So that is why he becomes blue, because everybody is throwing venom at each other. And so it is said that Krishna absorbs everybody's venom and he turns blue. So it is only through love can you attain the divine, not through possessiveness, not through being angry about each other. He says that I live in everybody's heart. So we must learn to see God in everybody. We must know that everybody has the essence of God. So why are we bitter? Why are we angry? My Guruji will always teach me this one very important lesson right from the day one that I came to him. It is be your good self. What does good self mean? Good self simply means that no matter what the opposite person does or behaves, no matter how badly they behave, it doesn't matter. No matter what they say, I should not react to it. I should not get angry. I don't have to behave in the same manner as they are behaving. If they are stooping down, does it mean I have to stoop down? No. So we have to always have our goodness in heart. It's okay if they are saying it is left to them. Why should I listen? Similarly, Buddha gave a very beautiful story to his disciple. Buddha and his disciples were walking, and one day one man comes and abuses Buddha endlessly, and he calls him by all names and bad words. He yells at him for 10 minutes, and then Buddha asks him, have you finished? He says, then he keeps quiet and then he just walks forward, and his disciple asks Buddha, how can you keep quiet? He was shouting at you, he was calling you names, he abused you so much. How can you just keep quiet? So Buddha says, did you hear? So you say, I did not hear. That is the mark of a great being. They do not get disturbed by what people speak, because whatever they say has no tatya. Like my Guruji says, this has no value, because it's their mind which is speaking. So what difference does it make if somebody calls me good or somebody calls me bad? Because it is their mind's judgment. Am I defined by what other people say? No, I am who I am. Who am I? I am the divine being. This is the understanding that we need to have. Even without pain or injury, it was unnecessarily tended with great care regularly. Being given a massage of ghee, where no wound or injury remained, and this continued to the end. Himself a Siddha, Sai did not need this service from Bhagoji, but out of his intense desire for the welfare of his devotees, he got Bhagoji to render it regularly. Like I said, this is a Maya created. They just put a delusion in front of your eyes and you think you are actually curing Baba by putting all of this. Actually, there's a very profound lesson in one of the chapter 2 in Guru Charitra, and I will definitely talk about this at some point during our satsang, but now let me continue in the interest of the time, and if we have time I will definitely narrate this beautiful story so that you'll enjoy too. It's one of my favorite stories. As a result of the great sins of his past births, Bhagoji was afflicted with leprosy. But great indeed was his good fortune that he had the privilege of Sai's company. As Baba set out on his daily round to the Lendi, Bhagoji would be his umbrella bearer. His body was full of bleeding sores, yet he was the foremost among the attendants. Every day in the morning, as Baba sat comfortably, leaning against the pillar near the Duni, Bhagya would present himself for his service. Removing the bandages from the hands and the legs, he would then massage the muscles of those limbs and would rub some ghee into them. Such was the service Bhagya rendered. a great sinner from previous births, with a body festered with bleeding, leprosy, severely affected that Bhagya was, he was yet a great devotee of Baba. The fingers and toes had fallen off due to leprosy. The whole body with its stink was repulsive. Such were the grave misfortunes of him, whose great fortune was the great happiness of serving Baba. Oh, how much can I describe to the listeners of the marvelous Leelas of Baba? Once the epidemic of plague broke out in the village, just listen to the miracle that took place then. When Baba was allowing Bhagoji to Bhagya to serve him and apply ghee and everything, he was only doing it so that Bhagoji can be redeemed of his sins, and it was an indirect way of curing Bhagoji's leprosy. So we cannot fathom or understand why the divine beings does certain things, why they let certain people do certain service to them. They are kind enough so that they are kind enough because they want to give that opportunity for them to redeem of all their past sins. We as human beings, we think, oh, she's a bad human being, or he's a very mean person. Why is Baba allowing them to be with them? Oh, look at, he's full of, he's bleeding, he's got leprosy, it's so repulsive. But Baba, it doesn't affect Baba. On the contrary, Baba's compassion is so strong that he's redeeming Bhagoji and curing his leprosy also by letting Bhagoji serve his hand. This is the way the divine beings work. But we human beings are so petty. Our mind is very petty. So please don't listen to your mind and become petty. Always listen to your heart. The first voice is the divine voice, and just follow that. That is why we say we have to always listen to our heart and not to our mind. Mind, please surrender and keep it at the side. You don't need to have the mind. Mind is only there to reach God. But beyond that, you have to chuck your mind as well. Dada Sahib Kharpade had a very young son who was at Shirdi with his mother, enjoying the great happiness of Baba's company. The boy was very small. Moreover, he was burning with a high fever, which seemed to break the mother's heart. She grew very restless. As her home was at Amravati, she thought she should go back thither. So, finding a suitable opportunity in the evening, she came to take Baba's permission. During his evening round, as Baba came near the Vada, the lady came and clasped his feet, relating to him what had happened. As it is, women are nervous by nature, and then the child shivering would not stop. Moreover, there was the fear of the dreaded plague. She kept on harping on what had happened. Gently, Baba said, "The sky is overcast, but it will rain, bringing forth the harvest, and the clouds will all melt away. Why be afraid?" So saying, he lifted his kafni up to the waist and showed the inflamed buboes to everyone, the size of a hen's egg. 4 inflamed buboes could be seen spread in 4 directions. "See, I have to take upon myself all your sufferings," said Baba. Seeing this extraordinary divine act, people were amazed. Oh, how these great saints take upon themselves the innumerable sufferings of their devotees. Yet, they will never open their mouth and ever say, "I am suffering for you." We human beings, small pain we can't tolerate. My Guruji once asked, we all ask, I need my life to be good. I have to be good. I should not have any suffering. Can you ever take on somebody's suffering? Can you suffer for others? Oh, we can't even suffer for ourselves. Where is the question of suffering for others? That is why these are great beings. They are called God. They are called the Supreme. Supreme means they are the highest. We are petty. We can never be called. We can never be called even godly, because even that doesn't exist with us. So we need to develop this. Can we see everybody in the same manner? That is what is important. We need to wish good for everybody. We should ensure that nobody is suffering. Why should we, wish bad, or we have, meanness? And it's not always about I, me, myself. We have to think about the goodness of this entire universe. That should be the motto. That is how these great divine beings think. They always think for the welfare of this entire universe and the entire creation. So they take on whatever is going to happen. because they're all knowing. They know something is going to happen. So they act proactively and they eradicate, they stop that. This is the goodness that these divine beings carry. And that is how we have to be. They have a heart softer than wax itself, as if it were a lump of butter. Their love for the devotees truly selfless. For the devotees alone are their kith and kin. That is so very true. Oh my God. See, they don't covet anything. They don't own anything. They don't even have the family of the bodily associations. Everybody is their disciples and devotees. We are all one family, which we say because as part of Lord Krishna, that I believe, we call ourselves as Vasudev Kutumbam. We are Krishna's, Lord Shri Krishna's family. We belong to him. That is what you need to believe in. Everybody is his kith and kin. There is nobody pariah, there is nobody his own. Everybody is one alone to them. It is we who make this differentiation. Yes, you need to always show how much you want them, how much you care for these divine beings. That is something you have to show. You have to put your effort. Devotion doesn't just come like this. It's not given on a platter. You have to develop. And when the grace dawns on you, you will evolve on the path of devotion. And there are so many sadhanas that you have to do. Being devoted doesn't mean, yes, I am devoted and I will only do this. There is a whole procedure. It's a whole process, and it goes through many lifetimes. You have to evolve to that stage. It is not just I put one step and then I'll say from first step I will attain the last step. It doesn't work like that. It's a slow process. Spirituality itself is a slow drawn process. It's not something that you can achieve overnight. So this is what you need to understand. But your efforts are must. It is you who have to put the effort. So self-effort is the most important criteria to evolve on the path of spirituality. Once it so happened that Nana Sahib left Nandurbar to go to Pandharpur. Nana was most fortunate indeed. His devotion and service to Baba seemed to have borne fruit, and he attained Vaikuntha, the abode of Lord Vishnu on this earth itself, for he was appointed Mamaldar to Pandharpur. On receiving the order of Nandarbar, he was required to leave as early as possible. So he immediately made preparations to leave with a keen desire to have Baba's darshan. He decided to go to Shirdi with his entire family, for Shirdi was to him Pandharpur itself, and he first wanted to make obeisance to Baba. However, no letter was sent to anyone at Shirdi, nor had any message or news preceded his arrival. Packaging all his luggage, he hurriedly boarded the train. No one in Shirdi could have known that Nana had started from Nandurbar in this hurried manner, but Sai, whose eyes were everywhere, knew everything. Nana had started speedily and may have just reached the border of Neemgaon when a miracle took place in Shirdi. Listen to it. Baba was in the mosque talking to Malsapati, Appa Shinde, Kashiram and some other devotees. Suddenly he said, "Come, let all the four of us sing bhajan together. The portals of the temple at Pandharpur have opened. Let us go on singing our bhajan merrily." Sai, who knew everything, past, present and future, had known about Nana's arrival, and when Nana had reached the stream of the village border, Baba suddenly showed great enthusiasm for singing the bhajan. "To Pandharpur I go. There alone do I stay. There alone do I stay in the abode of my Lord." Baba was singing the bhajan himself, and the devotees sitting around repeated the refrain. All were overcome by the feeling of love and devotion to Vitoba of Pandari. And then Nana arrived quite suddenly. He with his family bowed at Baba's feet, saying, "Maharaj, please be with us as we proceed to Pandharpur and remain there at your leisure." But the request was hardly necessary. The people then told him about Baba's enthusiasm to go to Pandharpur and the bhajan that it inspired. In his heart, Nana was wonderstruck. Baba's Leela had astonished him absolutely. He was choked with emotion as he placed his head on Baba's feet. After receiving Udi and Prasad with Baba's blessings, Chandorkar took Baba's leave to go to Pandharpur. And now, if I go on narrating all these stories, the book will become too expansive. Hence, I shall now end this subject of Baba's Leelas for reliving the sufferings of others. So let us now conclude this chapter, for there is no end to Baba's stories. In the next chapter, I shall narrate some miscellaneous stories for my own benefit. Oh, for this self-conceit of mine, which try as I may, I am not able to overcome. And yet, who is this I? I know not for certain, really, it is Sai himself who will narrate his own stories. Yes, we always bring our mind, and say, oh, I'm going to talk this, I want to say this, I. This I doesn't ever leave, because we have so much, we have established this identity with our body. We believe we are this body. That is what we have to overcome. And here also, Hemad is just saying, okay, I want to say this, I want to narrate this story. But who am I to narrate anything? It is Sai himself who will narrate his own stories, that which you have to know. So why am I saying I will narrate? Similarly, I promised you that I will say this most beautiful story of, a very favorite and the most beautiful story from Guru Charitra. It's a chapter 2. I'm going to give this in context of how the masters or how these great gurus will put maya of sickness around them and how this work. They're not actually sick, but how they should demonstrate this for the well-being of this world, their students, their disciples, and everybody. So there is this great guru, and he had few disciples, and in that he wanted to test his disciple who was eligible for the attaining of that knowledge. So he goes to them and he says, he says to everybody that I have to suffer for my prarabdha karma. I'm going to go to Kashi and a dreadful disease is going to come. I'm going to be getting it. So I will have to suffer through that. And hence I choose the place as Kashi and for me to go through my suffering. So he says, who would be willing to come with me and serve me? And out of all his students, there's only one student who says, I want to go with you, Guruji. And so this student of his goes with him, and in Kashi, the Guruji is now afflicted with leprosy. And the Guruji becomes very irritated, there's blood oozing, there's pus and all that. But this student, the disciple of his, serves him so beautifully. He doesn't get agitated, he doesn't get angry. The Guruji had already warned him, I'm going to become very, I'm going to be very hard on you. I'm going to yell at you, I'm going to do all of these things. I hope you don't mind. So the disciple says, no Guruji, I want to serve you. And then he serves him with utmost love. He doesn't get irritated even when the Guruji is yelling at him that you're not taking care of me, you're not properly serving me, I don't want to eat this food. What is the food that you have got? The Guruji is throwing n number of tantrums and irritating him endlessly. But the disciple, with so much love and devotion, serves his Guruji, not even reacting a bit. And seeing such a devotion, not just the Guruji, the gods are pleased. And then Lord Shiva, Lord Shiva comes and stands in front of him and says, very much pleased with your devotion. Ask a boon from us, ask a boon from me. I will grant you that boon. And what the disciple does? He doesn't use his mind and say, oh my God, I'm getting a boon, I want to ask. No, he doesn't do that. He goes to his Guruji and he says, Guruji, Lord Shiva is waiting there and he's saying he wants to, grant a boon. I want to ask for your welfare, sickness to be cured. And the Guruji flares up. Oh, who do you think? Why should you go beg with the divine to cure me and all? I don't need any of this. But did you see? He did not ask for him. He wants the Guruji's sickness to go away. That is what he was asking for. Such is the great disciple, where he doesn't care about himself. He cares about his master. It is first thou, not I. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa ji says, when you turn from amma, it becomes tuhu, tuhu. It is not about I, it is thou. It has to always be thou first. And then he goes to Shirdi and he says, I don't want to ask any boon, but if you really want to grant something, please ensure that I have always the grace of my Guru on my head, and I am always devoted unto the lotus feet of my Guru. This is what he said. If you wish to bless me this. This is the highest a disciple can be. Such is a mark of a great disciple. His Guruji was very pleased. Not only did the divine grant him the blessing, but his master granted him the knowledge. And from Deepak, his name was Deepak, and he became Amarendra Deepak, which means that he is eternally knowledgeable. The illumination of the knowledge happened. Such is the master's way of testing his disciple. You need to be able to stand this highest test. And once he attained that, his leprosy and all the sicknesses just went away. So when a guru does something, it is not just for one person's welfare. There is a welfare of many others in that entire Leela. Like in this case, when Baba put the hand in the duni and saved the baby, it was not just saving the baby, but it was also for Bhagoji, to get his leprosy cured. So that is how the one incident is serving many purpose. Can you imagine? Such is the greatness of such great divine beings. That they are the real masters who have come on this universe, who are manifested here to serve this entire creation selflessly, without having any hidden agendas. They don't care about anything. They are not even bothered about their own welfare. They only care about the welfare of this entire being, the people around, the entire creation. So please, if you get an opportunity to be with such a divine master, hold their feet, be with them, do not leave them. It is rare to get such opportunity to be with them. But we human beings, due to our material worldly desires, we don't value that. We disrespect what we have. We take things for granted. Do not do that, because they are only there for a moment in time, and once it is gone, it is gone. Don't waste such a priceless opportunity. It is priceless. You cannot have you cannot price it. It is beyond priceless. It's I don't know. In material world, we are always having a price tag to everything. Here, there are no price tags. What they give, you cannot even repay for it, even after many lives of service. Even if you earn and want to give it to them, you can never repay back to them. This is who they are. So always be grateful. Have gratitude for everything in life. Be thankful for who you are and what you have. Don't crib. Don't always keep running behind greed, wanting more. It doesn't work. Leave all that. I hope you enjoyed the story. There is a very profound meaning. You can actually go read this beautiful lesson. It is a sum of the entire teachings of Guru Charitra in this one chapter. So you must read if you get an opportunity. It's the most beautiful text of Lord Dattatreya in the avatar, in the form of Lord Narsimha Saraswati Ji. He will explain the importance of this human birth and describe his routine of collecting alms, the single-minded devotion of Baijabai, as also about his manner of having his meals. Listen also to how Baba used to sleep in the mosque with Malsapati and with Tatya Kote Patil. Hemarpant submits totally to Sai and regards himself but a slipper on the feet of Sai devotees. To him, Sai's word is the only truth, the only standard. Thus, the narration of Sai's story has come so far. So today we will be ending slightly earlier because this is a short chapter, and from here we'll continue tomorrow. So we'll be to all. Here ends the 7th chapter of Shri Sai Satcharita, called Narration of Various Tales as Inspired by the Saints and the Virtuous, and composed by his devotee Hemad Pant. Thank you again. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. See you all tomorrow at 7 o'clock once again. Thank you. ओम श्री महागणपते नमः। ओम श्री गुरुदेव दत्त। ओम श्री सच्चिदानंद सद्गुरु साईनाथ महाराज की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। दिगंबरा दिगंबरा श्रीपाद वल्लभ दिगंबरा। ओम श्री कृष्ण गुरुनाथ नाथ श्री गुरुवे नमः। ओम देवी दुर्गाय नमः। ओम श्री कृष्णार्पणम नमस्तु। कृष्णं वंदे जगद्गुरुम्।